A very good afternoon to all of you. In this lecture, I am going to start discussion on crossbar switching system. Actually, in last lecture, we have discussed about step-by-step switching system, that was Stogger switching system. In that switching system, we discussed that when we use Stogger switching system, there was a step-by-step procedure to set up a call between two subscribers, and the address of the called subscriber, or we can say subscriber, was dependent on his physical connections. So there were so many disadvantages in that. The first disadvantage was that it was a type of mechanical switch, and a lot of wear and tear and maintenance was required in that. And also uh, this was there was a failure in the multiple exchange type of situation. Means if we have more than one path between two subscriber, then we cannot use all the paths. In step by step, it is possible to use only one path, and if we use some different path, then the calling subscriber should know the identity of the all exchanges in the path of the call setup between subscribers. So these were disadvantages which we have discussed in last lecture, and because of that we proceed for next type of switching system. This is crossbar switching system, and in last lecture at the end we discussed also key to overcome all the problems. The common control system type of switching system was proposed, and in that the there was a unique identity number of subscriber, and that was logic based on logics. It was not based on physical connections. So in continuation of that, we are going to start discussion on crossbar switching. That means its working, its connection principle, connection styles, and so many other points. We will discuss its limitations and as well as improvements in the crossbar switching time to time. So this is related to some historical point. In 1915, Bell Company Western Electric's coordinate selector they have developed. In 1999, Swedish governmental agency designs Gothic Betulander design. It was in process to develop a crossbar switching system, and finally in 1938 AT&T is a well-known company, one crossbar crossbar exchanges developed by Bell Telephone Labs. We are not going into the historical point of view. This was a type of crossbar switching exchange. From this point we are going to start the discussion on crossbar switching. Crossbar switching, as name reflects, this is a type of matrix type of connection between two lines, and as we can see in figure, there is a horizontal line as well as vertical lines. So for subscriber, it there will be horizontal as well as vertical line. So these lines will be connected, and the connection between these lines will establish the call between subscribers. This concept can be more clearly indicated in this form, as it can be shown in this figure, that uh, there are three subscriber A, B, and C horizontally connected with wires, and there are vertical lines also connected to subscribers, and the line of these subscribers are uh, are managed to connect with the switches shown at this point 1 2 3 and so on. With these switching points, electromagnets are connected, and when these electromagnets are energized, the switching between two constant point will be possible. The mechanism of switch can be understood with the help of this figure. In this we can see this is part of switch, this is part of switch that is to be connected, and these are electromagnet associated with that. So when these electromagnets are energized, this particular lower electromagnet will attract upper upper line of switch, and upper electromagnet will attract lower line of switch, and in that case when both the electromagnets are energized, uh, the two lines in the switch will be connected, and then that means uh, the subscribe there will be connection between connection possible between two subscribers. So we if we go with this circuit representation, in which the circuits are represented in matrix form, we can see more clear in this figure. Suppose we have to set a call between subscriber B and subscriber C. Then line B of the subscriber is to be energized, and as well as line C, line vertical line of subscribers is to be energized. So in this way the connection as shown on point 6 will be completed with the help of these electromagnets, and then there will be a call set up between subscriber B and C. So in this way the call will be connected between subscribers, and it seems easier than step-by-step switching system, but there are some drawbacks that we'll discuss in detail, and also the remedy of that, what was applied on that disadvantage of the crossbar. Suppose in this case when B is calling to subscriber C, that means when B start calling, so line B will be energized, and when the exchange set up the connection to C, then vertical line C will be energized. That means there will be a switch that at the point 6 will be energized, will be connected, and the calls will be possible between subscriber B and C. But when we reverse this procedure, means if call subscriber C is initiating call, if subscriber C is initiating call, then that means first of all horizontal bar C will be energized, and then after horizontal vertical bar B will be energized. But we can see in this case the switch at point 8 will be now energized, although the communication is going to be set up between the same subscribers, that is initially it was between B and C, and now it is between C and B. That means the switch will be changed when the calling subscriber will be changed, but it should not be. This is wastage of the connection. We are using uh, two connection for the communication between two same subscribers. That can be possible by one connection also. So this is a wastage of connection in this type of communication system. We can also see there are 3 into 3 9 switching points in this crossbar switching system, but only 2 or 3 subscriber will communicate at a time. That means less rest 50%, more than 50% switching points will be redundant in the communication system. So this was first drawback that was seen. Next drawback we can see, connection between subscriber A and A is possible, connection between subscriber B and B is possible, connection between subscriber C and C is possible. That is not required actually. It never subscriber A will be connect call with itself or B or C. That means these type of switches like 1, 5, 9 diagonal switches are not required. These are again redundant. These are not these are wastage of the switch. So this is again a drawback of this. Next point that we are going to discuss is very important. What should be the procedure to set up a call between two subscribers? So it was decided at that time to set up a call, horizontal bar should be energized first and then after vertical bar should be energized, and then only the call set up between subscriber will be assumed. So as we can see in this figure, when the call is set up between subscriber A and C, then for this definitely initially line A was energized, then after line C was energized. Now see carefully, interesting point is going to be discussed over here. Then suppose the call between B and E is also to be developed. That means first of all, for this call, horizontal line B will be energized and then vertical line E will be energized, and definitely there will be call possible between A and C as well as B and E. But a big but we can say, while applying connection between B and E, a connection is also set up between also set up between B and C at this point between B and C, and also there is possibility of connection between line A and E. This is false call. We are the subscriber has not asked to call, subscriber A has not energized A to connect call to E, but because in some other call E is energized, then possibility of connection between A and E at the point AE. So this is seem to be big drawback, big mistake in this type of switching system. But let's discuss what is the matter and how we can remove it. Suppose A and C are energized and then after B and E are energized. So in this case we can see there is a possibility of connection between A and C, and then possibility of connection between B and C. There is possibility of connection between A and E, and also there is possibility of connection between B and E. So now, as we can to overcome this problem, it was decided that first of all, horizontal line or bar should be energized first, and then vertical uh, bar should be energized, and the sequence, and only this sequence will be considered to connect a switch. It was this protocol was decided and were used at that time. So when A is energized first and then C is energized first, then call AC will be possible. And similarly, when B is energized first and then after E is energized, then call BE is possible. But call connection between B and C will be not considered, because in this case C is energized first and then after B is energized. So the thumb rule that we have that was decided, that for setting up a call, horizontal bar should be energized first and then vertical bar. So the connection between B and C will be not possible. But what can be the discussion on connection between A and E? At A and E, A is energized first and then E is energized. And in our discussion, A was the first to be energized and the E was the last to be energized. In that case, we can see the rule that A should be energized first, then after vertical should be energized is fulfilled. That means connection between A and E is possible. So this is again a false call. False call BC was eliminated by making a rule that horizontal bar should be energized first and vertical bar should be energized then after. But the case of AI is possible, although we energize horizontal bar A first and then E second. For removing this type of problem, one more amendment was applied on the switching system, and that was the sequence of the connecting path is that first of all energize horizontal bar, then energize vertical bar, and then de-energize horizontal bar. मीन्स कि पहले हॉरिजेंटल बार से कनेक्शन सेटअप किया, कनेक्शन सेटअप करने के बाद मतलब ये हॉरिजेंटल इज एनर्जाइज्ड, देन वर्टिकल इज एनर्जाइज्ड, and then after horizontal is de-energized, as we can see in this figure. Suppose A is energized and then after C is energized, then call will be set up between A and C, and then after A will be de-energized. So now when when we have to connect, develop a call between A and B, then uh, we have to energize line B first and then line E, and then only call between A and will be possible, and after that B should be de-energized. When A will be de-energized after completing the connection, there will be not possibility of false call between A and E, and so E will be safe from the COVID. So AE AE will be uh, not any connection, false connection, and BC will not be false connection if we use the sequence, that is energize horizontal power first, then energize vertical power for a second, and then after de-energize the horizontal bar. So this was the limitation and its remedy related to the crossbar switching. Now come to the next limitation and its remedy, or we can say it's how we can how we can remove it. Let's discuss. This type of switching system is actually called non-blocking, means all possible connections are available, so there is no possibility of call blocking while call. That's why it is called non-blocking X bar or switching bar. In this type of switching bar, there are number of switches are n square and the number of connections are n by 2. That means if n inputs, and in case of n input and an output, n squares are n square are available, and only n by 2 switches will be used in the communication at its max. So suppose we have 3 subscriber at input and also 3 at output. That means 3 square means that is 9, and 9 switches will be available, but 3 by 2 1.5 switch will be only used. So we can see the percentage of utilization of the switches is very low. Out of 9, only 1.5 switches are used. That means much less than 50%. This was main drawback, and for that in previous discussion, as we have discussed, that redundant switches are available. That means for the communication between same subscriber, the connection will be changed if direction of calling party is changed. So as well as diagonal connections are not useful, because these are connection between subscriber to its own. So these type of switches, if these type of switches are removed, then number of switches in the crossbar will be reduced without affecting the call setup between the subscribers. So if we assume that there is a diagonal line in this crossbar system, if there is a diagonal line in this crossbar system, so above or below this diagonal line, the switches above or below this diagonal line will be sufficient to provide the non-blocking calls in this switching bar. That means this type of connection, this type of switching system will be more beneficial in the term of switching capability, utilization of switching, etc., etc. One more point is to be discussed, that we are going to discuss with the help of this figure. The same as we have discussed, there is connection between B and C, and there is connection between C and B. For the same, for the connection between same subscriber, the switches are changed. So these are the drawbacks, and these are removed with the help of some thumb rule and some changes in the switching system. And then after, actually when this type of switching system was designed, the motive was to provide easier connection than step by step switching. The initial motive was that, because step by step switching was very bulky, it was requiring maintenance, it was requiring huge power, huge movement and all, so many things. To remove that, the requirement was to provide easy connection between the subscriber. For that case, crossbar switching was initiated. But now, after developing this type of switching system, the next motive, next plan was to reduce the cost, or we can say to increase the use efficiently of the switching design. As we have seen in the last slide, that out of n square switches, only n by 2 switches are used to set up the call. This is very poor utilization of the switching system. To improve this, uh, the community decided to try for blocking crossbar. Means they were ready to compromise with blocking in call. That means there was going to pain to the subscribers. Means subscriber will feel blocking while calling their uh, called party. So this was planned, and a plant like that system was going to compromise with blockings, compromise with errors, and the motive was to reduce the cost. Reduce the cost means reduce the switching points. So one concept came in this manner, that is shown in the this figure, that there are 7 subscribers and these are connected with only one line. Previously, each subscriber was connected with 2 lines. Okay. So in this case, A, B, C, D, E, F, G are the subscribers, and these are connecting column points. And for this, we can see, let's see how the connection is possible. When we have to set up call between A and B, then first of all A is to be energized and then P is to be energized. To set up the call between A and B, A is to be energized and then P is to be energized. So there will be connection between A and P. Then after, P bar is to be energized. Sorry, initially A is to be energized and then line P is to be energized. So there will be connection between A and P at this point. Now we have to energize B. Now this B line is energized and then energize P bar. So this point will also be connected, and because this P bar and P are the same, so through this point A and B will be connected. So what will be the sequence? Sequence will be energize A first, then energize P, then de-energize A, then energize B, then energize P dash, and then de-energize B. So then after there will be calls set up between subscriber A and subscriber B. Suppose in this figure A and F is to be connected, so similarly the same procedure will be followed. Subscriber A firstly is to be energized, then P is to be energized, then F is to be energized, and then P bar is to be energized. So through the P bar and P lines there will be connection between A and B. So this procedure was used to reduce the number of switching points. All these points will be discussed in next lecture, although these are not going to be part of our course. So some more important point we are going to discuss is about switching contacts. The point is we are using the switches between line A and B and so on, and these are we are going to discuss about the switch technology, the technology of switch that is used. In this figure, we have used switches in open air, normal switches. That means possibility of sparking and oxidation is possible in that of switches. So it creates heat, it can create fire, uh, it it create heat, it can create fire, and as well as it requires high power for the operation. To remove this type of switch was came into the picture, that was called reed switching technique, reed blade based switching technique. In that case, concept is very simple but very useful, very effective. There was a glass capsule filled with inert gas, and in that the two switching lines are inserted. These are called glass capsule, these are called contact plating, and these are overlapping at some point. Now suppose we apply electromagnetic coil on left side as well as right side. So on applying electromagnetic wave across it as well as across it, these two plates will be attracted towards each other, and then connection will be possible, connection will be set up between these two. This was the concept that was used. By on using this concept, there will be no possibility of sparking as well as possibility of oxidation while switching is established. In similar way, in the place of this reed technology, after invention of electronics devices, BJT was used, bipolar junction transistor was used, TRIAC was also used, and now MOSFET and CMOS can also be used in this place. But crossbar is absolute, totally electronics based digital system is available in the switching exchanges of the telephone system, and the most of the parts are digital actually. So after discussion on electromechanical electronic switching system, that is step by step and crossbar switching system, we have to move towards electronic switching, and there will be requirement of the prerequisite requirement of the knowledge related to analog and digital, the concept of analog and digital. That means student or learner or viewer should know the difference between analog and digital. In keeping view, in keeping with keeping this view in mind, I am going to proceed for the discussion on analog and digital signal, discrete signal, and so many things we have to discuss actually. So let's a short discussion on analog and digital signals. Two signals are shown in this figure. The first one is analog signal, the second one is sampled signal. So what is definition of analog signal? And in the next figure we can see analog signal and digital signal. Let's first of all discuss analog and digital, then After we'll discuss uh, analog and sampled signal. Most of the time when it is asked that what is analog signal, people say this is continuous signal. But from figure we can see that digital signal is also a continuous signal because its value is defined for every moment of time. So it should be confirmed that analog signal is a continuous signal is not proper definition. There is something different, and we can understand the concept of this by after viewing and after minutely viewing the waveforms. As we can see, the waveform shown by this color, in this waveform, infinite numbers of values are possible. Infinite value nahi, infinite numbers or values are possible. Suppose maximum is 5 volt and minimum is minus 3 volt. So between minus 3 and 5 volt, any value is possible. Means infinite number of values are possible. If this type of representation is shown, then that representation will be called analog. We can see in this also, in this figure also, from this point to this point any value is possible. Any value is possible. Similarly, in this case, means in next slide, analog signal, any number of values are possible, and in this signal also infinite values are possible. Any value can be possible in this signal. So although this is sampled signal, this signal will be called discrete signal, but this is again analog signal. So this is analog discrete signal. This is type of analog discrete signal. That means analog is defined on the basis of possibilities of value in vertical axis, and continuous and discrete is defined on the basis of values available for the moments of time. If values are available for every moment or every value of horizontal axis, then it will be called continuous. And if values possible are infinite type of values are possible, then it will be called analog. If signal is defined for some specific moments, then it will be called discrete. But if its values are possible in any type, then it will be called analog. That means this is analog discrete signal and this is analog continuous signal. And in this figure again we can see this is analog, this is analog. But what is digital now? This is digital. Only two values are defined. Only two values are defined. Suppose 5 volt and 0 volt. Only two values. So in any signal, if limited number of values are defined, in any signal, if limited number of values are defined, then it will be called digital signal. Here we can see in this figure also. In this figure we can see there are some specific values are possible. In this signal any value is possible. Any value is possible. But in this figure, after this 0 level, next level is suppose 1 and then next level is suppose 2. Means value between 1 and 2 is not defined. But in this figure, between 1 and 2 any value is possible. So in this case only two values are possible. In this case the values are shifted by some particular range, that is called resolution. So 0, then after it will be at 1, then 2, then 3. There will be no value defined between 3 and 2 or 4 and 3. So this will be called again a digital signal. This will be called analog signal. Any value is possible. Any value is possible. Only limited value, two values are possible. That's why it will be called digital. So these two are digital signal, these two are analog signal, and all these signals are defined for every moment of time. That's why called it is continuous signal. So these are continuous as well as analog. These are continuous as well as digital signal. And these values are defined if these values are defined for some specific moment of time, then this type of representation will be called discrete digital signal. If it is defined for some specific moment of time, then this type of signal will be called discrete digital signal. So uh, with the help of this discussion, we have discussed also the concept of analog, digital, discrete, analog, digital, discrete, continuous. Four type of signal we have discussed. First one is analog, second one is digital, the third one is discrete, and the fourth one is continuous. So concepts are related to each other, it cannot be separated. So all these signal will be used to understand the concept of analog and digital. So the system which shows the result in the term of analog signal are called analog system, and the system which use or shows their outputs or input in the term of digital signals, means only specific values are possible, then it will be called digital system. So by using these concept and with the help of some previous one, we will discuss further concept of electronic switching. And with these points and with these considerations, I am going to conclude the lecture at this point. Thank you so much.